Hey everyone, I hope you are hanging in there and doing the best you can right now during this time. I am going to be making my February recap just like I did for January. I am loving this book project that I am making, so I hope you're enjoying the series. I think that this is part 6, 7, I don't know. It'll say it in the title, but I have this book journal for this year and I'm just loving it. It's so much fun to decorate and play with and make my pages. And if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Sabrina and I am always creating stuff. You can definitely see more behind the scenes at my Instagram, Mrs. Scrap and Plan. So I'm always making stuff and I'm lucky enough to be on a few design teams. Scrap and Happy Studio, Tracy Reed Designs, and Coco Daisy. I also just launched my first big picture classes, which is also in the description box below. So, always making something, and with this one, this is no exception. And like I said, I will be doing the February, and I did cheat because I think if you watch my videos, you know that my husband figured out my calendar for me and the grid. So I had him go ahead and mark it off for me, so that way all I have to do is basically connect the dots, connect the lines, and then I'll have my grid for February. Once again, on a piece of paper, I just wrote down like some genres and my page count, and so that way I can add that in here. All right, I'm gonna put this together and let's get started. All right, so I'm going to start with drawing out my books for on my shelf, and I just use my T ruler from Coco Daisy to kind of draw out the books. No stamp, nothing precise, just kind of drawing them out. I kind of draw them out based on what the size was, and so I go with that, and then I'm just going to write the titles in. I probably mentioned this a few times, but they turned out a little bit smaller than I liked, but that's okay. I can read it, and I guess that's what's important, that I can read it, and it's still going to turn out cool in the end. So I am adding all my books, and I will color them in later on. I'm going to go back to making my February page, and I'm going to do my calendar. And even though my husband did the grid for me, oh my goodness, I could not draw straight to save my life. I just couldn't get it to work. So the lines are a little bit wonky still. I think I was using the wrong micron pen. Maybe that was what it was, because it was just not writing correctly and it wasn't going smoothly across. So I'm going to fill in all the lines, and then I will have my calendar. I went back on one of the lines and I used a white jelly roll pen to kind of erase the line that I goofed. So that helps, and those pins are like only $3 at Michael's. But Michael's is closed now, so I don't know where to get them. Okay, so I'm stamping once again with the Kellie Stamps alphabet, and I'm just putting February, and I discovered it's easier to use a single block to stamp out the title instead of one long block, because I just can't press hard enough, so it's just easier to use one acrylic block. And I should probably use a ruler, because I cannot stamp straight for my life. I just can't, but that's okay. I don't know. Do you stamp straight, or do you have a hard time stamping straight? I don't know. Let me know. Okay, so for this one, I picked out red, of course. February always means red to me. And I'm kind of looking at my January page to see kind of what I did as far as that page. I think I'm just going to keep it similar. I thought about changing up the categories or what I included for statistics, but I just decided to keep it the same. So genres, number of pages read, shortest and longest, and also including a journaling card at the bottom. And I printed this digital one because I still don't want to use the physical one. So I just used that one. And I'm going to stamp in the little box that says title. I'm going to stamp all the books and then author, captivated, captivated. And on the right, I am going to include a little stack of phrases. One says reading, another one says library day, and then the one that I just messed up on, that is a good book is always at hand. And I wound up having to stamp that on another piece of paper. It's actually some really cool paper. I will leave a link in the description, but it's some HP paper, and it just is really like a good paper. I just love it, and I love the way it stamps. So now I am moving on to finishing up this little section with my stack of different pieces. It's kind of cool how all of them wound up different. One's a stamped phrase, one is an actual die cut, and one is a digital piece. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so this red stamp right here was not cleaned properly. Whoops. And it is way too dark. So eventually I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to stamp the red book on that piece of that same type of paper and then glue it on over. But I am just doing the same thing I did in January, making a little stack and then longest and then using a heart. Obviously it's February, and I am going to write out the longest book, which was one day in December. And then I'm going to make another little stack at the bottom right for the shortest book, which was the Anne Frank graphic novel and Lock and Key graphic novel, which I absolutely loved both of those books. They were really, really cool. Loved them. I'm also going to stamp the heart throughout this spread because February, and I don't know, I love going with theme and seasonal. It makes sense to me, so that's what I will go with. Like, when I think of February, I do not think of orange or purple. I don't. Okay, so for the calendar, I'm using a midliner. I put down the midliner first, and then I'm going to put down the dates, and then I did Sunday through Saturday, and that is my basic calendar. And then what I include is just the number of pages that I read. I'm also going to include 2 more little phrases on the left side that says "Books are magic" on the edge of my seat. I just didn't like how there was like a little almost gap right there, and so I felt like it needed something else. So that's why I'm including those 2 stamped phrases. Okay, more hearts, more stamping. I did them in red and black. And then over on the right, I put down a die cut that says "Read," which I just love the die cuts. I love them. I love this pack of die cuts. I should have bought like 2 because they are so awesome. Okay, now I'm writing down my genres, and in case you're interested, I read World War II, Christmas holiday book, books about books, romance, graphic novels, and contemporary. So a big, wide range of books, but that's how it usually is for me. So it was a great reading month. It really was. So in a little bit, I am going to write on the journaling card about how it was a great month. And then I realized that I forgot to include in the middle of the page the number of books I read. So I had to take out my X-Acto knife and cut off a little piece of the journaling card. And once again, that turned out a little wonky, and that's okay. It was more important for me to get the number of pages. So I cut off a little piece of it, and then I can squeeze in my number of pages. And I'm just using some old LE Studio alphabets that I have that match. And then I will use the Kellie Stamps small little alphabet to stamp out pages. So there we go, stamping it out. And I like how it's in the middle of the page, so it worked out that I accidentally forgot it. And I'll probably just stick to this same type of formula every month. Not the forgetting part, but the genres and pages, and then a journaling card just talking about how reading went for the month. March should be interesting because March reading did not go so well, just like a lot of things. But I'm sure that's how it was for most people. So I just wrote about Dear Edward, which was an absolutely incredible book. And now I am going to fill in the number of pages that I read. And I'm just going to add those in, and I'm almost done with this page. There we go. Added in the last one. And then now I'm going to fix those red books, and I am going to fussy cut those out and then glue them on top of the book stacks. And then I will be finishing up with this spread, and it turned out awesome. See, just covered it right up, can't even tell. All right, my February monthly is all wrapped up, and I absolutely love it. It was so much fun to put this together and just come up with how I'm gonna fill up my page. And I also just put in some 3x2s of the other books that I read. And then in another video, I will do the February favorites. I'm missing one photo here, but I'll just throw that in later. It's this book called Snapdragon, one of the weirdest graphic novels or maybe books I've ever read. It's about a girl who makes a connection with an older lady, and they both have witchcraft, and they take care of the roadkill, basically. They take care of the roadkill together. Also, in this video, I showed you how I added in my books for February, starting right there and there. So it's a little hard to tell because I wrote them so small, but it's okay. I still like it, and I think it's still gonna look great at the end of the year. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I would love a thumbs up, or if you want to continue to see my videos, then hit subscribe. I would appreciate that. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I hope you have a great day. Bye.